to my channel. Thank you so much for clicking that video link and coming to spend some time with me here today. Woo, I just did a Wakanda forever. Wakanda forever. And I have to say it in this accent. If this is your first time visiting, my name is Bwandungi. Welcome. I'm so glad that you are here, that you clicked that video, and that is tiny little applause because you know how it sounds in the video, but I'm clapping really hard in my heart. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for subscribing. 38 people. I am so honored and I celebrate each and every one of you. Thank you. Today is story time. I'm going to tell you a story about something that happened to me and my friend Baden while we were living in Toronto. I left Toronto about 5 years ago and I came to live in Ottawa, which was an interesting change, but it was a very necessary one for the things that I want to accomplish. So, you know, big ideas, big goals, big move from a big city to a small city. That is how we do it. Toronto is a great city. It's very multicultural. You can find anybody from anywhere in Toronto. You can find anyone from any country in the world in Toronto. It's a great place to live. There's so many things to do. You can be awake all night admiring art. There's beach to go to. There's city to enjoy. There's the little mini version of Times Square. If you want something a little bit more rough around the edges, you can go to Kensington Market and get all kinds of, you know, supplies. There are various festivals in the city, the Italian section of the city, there's the Greek section of the city. You can get food at any hour of the day. Toronto is a great city, but it is also jam-packed with a lot of people, which means the traffic is crazy. And then there's the bicycles to deal with, who choose when it is that they want to be cars or they want to be pedestrians. Even someone who's walking, you can get run over by cars or by bikes. Thankfully, there are no moose in the street, otherwise those ones would run you over too. Because of all the cars on the streets, the delivery trucks, the commerce that is happening, people getting to work, people taking their children, tourists, there is so much pollution in the air, and my body is sensitive to the phytoestrogens that come out of the exhaust of cars. There are also so many people who are smoking, just blowing cigarette smoke into your face, and I'm sensitive to that as well. Which means that every time I got home after we'd been in the city, I felt sick. My body was going, ooh, estrogen, what are we going to do with it? Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And all the nicotine and secondhand smoke. Don't blow your smoke in somebody's face. They're not smoking for a reason. Blow your smoke somewhere else or keep it inside your lungs. You're the one who wants it. On those high-rise buildings near the lake, there is a problem of spiders. Huge, gigantic spiders that are feasting on the sea flies. And then a little later in the spring, come the bees and the wasps to eat the spiders. It's a jungle out there, even though it's not a jungle. So pollution outside, spiders and all other kinds of insects waiting to enter your home the moment you open the windows. So the only place to go and get some fresh air that my body would enjoy better was to go walking along a path that had been built out along Queen's Quay from about Bathurst to about Yonge Street. And it goes along Lake Ontario. So you get the city on one side and you get the lake on the other side. And there's flies and there's pollution. You couldn't escape it. But you know, what are you going to do? You need different kind of air other than the recycled breath and farts in your condo. So you go outside. There was a cute little park, musical park I think they called it, close to the building where we lived. And so we would walk to that park, enjoy that first, and then walk along Queen's Quay. I have taken some amazing pictures of the vegetation and landscaping at the musical park. I will leave a link below. Please visit. So there we are walking along, having a great time, trying to make sure that no sea flies enter our mouths. And we even found a spot to sit that had no spiders. We took a short breather at the beginning of our walk. That's how dedicated we are. Right at the bottom of Spadina, where Spadina meets Queen's Quay, there's an apartment building. And the walkway snakes around the building and by some vegetation that has been planted out there. There are some great weeping willows and the grass is very green and kept neat. Out from under one of those weeping willows jumps out this guy, and he is tall, 6 foot something, and girthy, not fat, but strong looking. He was a non-black POC, and he jumps out in front of us on the walkway and looks at me directly and says, I loved you, and you broke my heart. Why would you do that to us? Why would you do that to me? All I ever wanted was to make you happy. All I ever sought was your pleasure. When will you return to me? And I'm looking at the guy like, I don't know what this is, but whatever. He goes on with this long soliloquy, and then he finishes and looks at me. So Baden starts to clap, and then I clap. Well, I guess this guy has done a really good job of acting and convincing us, but I still don't know what's going on. We need to go. We gotta go. But remember, he's a big guy, so he's blocking the path. And he looks at me and says, I was looking at you, but I was really talking to her. And he points at Baden. So we laugh and try to be polite and kind, and we're sort of edging ourselves away from him to continue our walk. But then he introduces himself and he tells us his name is Sergeant Diamond. And he points to the other guys who are sitting under the tree and says that they are his buddies in the army, and that right now they are waiting to be deployed, which is why they're close to Porter Airport and they're going somewhere. He kind of insinuated that they're some kind of special force people. We had lived long enough in Toronto to know that, yeah, they were not special forces nothing. I don't know what they were, but that's not what they were. We also know that there's a problem of homelessness in Toronto, and many of the homeless people are also afflicted with mental health issues. In order not to aggravate him, we decided that we needed to be calm and make our intentions known that we wanted to continue walking. And when he realized that we intended to continue walking, he said, well, let me come with you. Let me walk with you a little bit. He waved what he thought was a cool hi to his buddies. See you later, I'm off with these guys. We didn't feel that we had a choice, so we continued to walk with Sergeant Diamond. And as he's walking, he's telling us all these wild stories about the things that he's done. And he fought in Afghanistan, and he's on his way to Spain. I don't know why Canadian forces would be in Spain, but there you go. And I think he was also trying to impress us with his stories. Along the walkway on Queen's Quay, you go over this beautiful wooden bridge that has been built, and there's some boats in the water, and then there's a place that has been built out to have a semi-beach atmosphere, and sometimes they hold concerts there. It's a really great place to be. It's beautiful, and tons of people go there. And that day there were tons of people who were there trying to catch some sun or just enjoying having their feet in sand. As we pass this one guy who is tanning, he's got his Speedos on and his glasses, and he's spread himself out on his towel, and he's just enjoying getting himself a tan for the summer. And Sergeant Diamond says, look at that fool! What is he wearing? Why is he naked here? So I had to divide this story up into two parts. So there's part 1 and there's part 2. Make sure you watch part 2. You will never imagine what Sergeant Diamond did. If you want to know, you have to watch part 2. So go ahead, go watch part 2. Subscribe, then go watch part 2.
Como Maria, Alicia.